Hello, education professions students. I have been thinking a lot about the articles that we've been reading and some of the things that have transpired as far as coronavirus and e-learning and things are concerned. Um, so, first thing of note is that as of right now, because of how the district is still working on a plan for e-learning and getting it approved through the Indiana Department of Education. We're still kind of in this holding pattern about grades and things like that. However, I do appreciate the fact that you guys are reading what I'm posting for the most part and then posting your thoughts and ideas. And we're going to continue to do this just so that we can continue to discuss current events and issues in education as we go through this and don't lose touch with each other and with the content of the class. However, as of right now, obviously you notice it's not as heavy lifting as the type of reading and observing and writing and projects that we were doing when we actually met in class. And, that's neither here nor there. Which brings me to the next point about once they have a plan in place or if grades and things are taking place. I hope you still have in mind your unit plans and what you wanted to teach and grade level and things like that. Because, you know, just like I've had to adapt to e-learning and I've had to adapt to, whatever the administration tells me to do in addition to what the state standards are for the classes. You too, as a professional, will be challenged to do this. And so, if we have to do graded material and stuff, I'm going to stick to a similar thing to the original plan in which you're going to teach the class, except for um, obviously we can't meet face to face. So, it might be that we'll have to create an e learning experience for that project rather than actually teaching in a classroom, which I actually think would be just as valuable as doing the classroom thing because it's a challenge for everybody. My colleagues in other school buildings throughout Fort Wayne Community Schools didn't have the technical training that most of the Northside teachers had and the skills. So you're going to face an obstacle like this professionally sometime, and so I'm kind of thinking of doing a project like that once we have graded material and having that be kind of the final unit of study as well as our e-portfolio stuff. There are some scholarships and things too that are still posted on the learning management system page on the Power School page. I want you to definitely apply for those if you're a senior and you haven't done so. Um, there's a handful of you that I've written letters of recommendation for. If you are a senior and you need that so that you can get the scholarship or get in, for the admissions offices of colleges and stuff, please communicate with me via email or some way, shape, or form, and I'll get that. But really, as we get toward the end of the semester, I have an idea of what we could do depending on what the district decides is the plan. That brings me to the last point, which I think is the most important point. The articles that we read this week in particular have been about how teachers are dealing with the loss of losing their students, as well as having to adjust to e learning and how kind of painful and difficult that kind of can be. The other article that I posted today is about students and how 4 in 10 students in this country have reported that they haven't even touched their computer or gone to any of the e learning things so far. And in some of you guys' posts in the threads, you've expressed, that you miss your teachers. Like the human interaction is something that is missed as a result of this, and that some we talk about like not having a plan and things like that. Well, some of us did, and some of us didn't. And but when push comes to shove, I'm really looking forward to seeing what your thoughts were about those articles and also the challenges they presented you. I want to know why 40% of the students in the United States haven't even bothered with e-learning so far. I want to know because you guys are the students. You can tell me truthfully what that is, why that is the case. Like I have my own theories, but I don't want to bias that. But when push comes to shove, your guys' opinion matters. And when you read the articles and you kind of explain, well, from your point of view, why is that the case? And is it your own opinion, or are you also speaking on behalf of other students that you're friends with or that you've observed and things like that? So I just want you to take that into account when you respond to those threads. And I'd also like for you to take a minute to, at some point in time, make your own kind of video blog post. I'm using Screencastify for this one, which is easy because it's free. But if you have your own way of doing this, or you have your own YouTube channel or something like this where you can post your videos, that's kind of how I do it. Consider it, because it's something too, as a 21st century skill you're going to want to have. You want to have the ability to speak publicly or speak using technological resources like Screencastify, or doing a webcast, or doing, any type of thing like that. So that is kind of the big picture at this point. I miss you guys. I miss teaching. I miss being at school. I miss having the interactions that we had. I miss saying hi to you. I miss being involved in things, whether it was workouts for tennis, or show choir, or just having a life outside of a house, and having all these connections with people. I do miss it. Now, on the other hand, I'm not depressed about it, because I have great company here, between Miss Rimchisel and our kitty cat Piper, and we've had plenty to do, believe me, like around the house. But long story short, I do miss being in the profession of teaching in a classroom and interacting with every single one of you. So, best wishes. I hope you get your work done. If you have any questions, you can come into my class session even if it's not during the allotted class period. I'm not even worried about that. It'd be just fun to see some people. Have a great rest of your day.